I'm Greg Flower here, BRP Instructor, and tonight is Thursday night, 7 o'clock, and what we do here every Thursday night at 7 o'clock is we instruct you guys on how to use the deal analyzer inside the Buy It, Rent It, Profit platform. We analyze real deals, things we're interested in, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, or you could ask at the end, whatever you want to do. But I like to get right into it. So let me go share my screen. Y'all can see the page of the Buy It, Rent It, Profit. Yes?
You're not signed in.
What? Again? I am signed in. I swear it, I am. But you can see it. How do you know I'm not signed in?
Because it says sign in or sign up.
All right. Sorry, guys. Thought I was signed in. Just takes a couple of seconds because we share. Okay, so once you get into your profile, you come over here to downloadable tools and resources. You come to Workstation. Click on Workstation. And we come here to Tools and Resources. And you go to Real Estate Investment Analyzer. And here we are. So remember, before you start any deal or start looking for a property, you want to do your COTA process. And like we spoke about the other night in the book club, and if you weren't in the book club, we'll go over it again. City Data is a free site. They are amazing. You can type in any zip code, any area, and it'll give you basically about a 10-year look back in that area. And usually it's about a year behind, year to 6 months behind. So you might not get that day's data, but it's pretty darn accurate. It'll give you millage rates. It'll give you average household size, average household income, average family size. It'll give you ethnicity. It gives you more than you'll ever need to do a proper COTA process. Okay, you can also go on to the municipality's website wherever you're looking. So we're in Pinellas. I would go on to the Pinellas tax, what do they call it? Tax collector website to get real updated data. I print out a sheet at the beginning of the year. It tells me all the millage rates and all the townships in Pinellas and in Tampa, because that's generally where we're looking. So I have the updated millage rates. Apartments.com and Rentometer. Rentometer is a paid site, but when you first click on, you get, I think, 3 or 4 free searches to verify your rents, to make sure what the offering memorandum is telling you as market rent is actually market rent. Hey, sometimes they exaggerate, and you want to inspect what you expect. And where I find most of my deals is Crexi. Crexi has a paid service and a free service. I'm on their mailing list, so I get emails every day over and over again. And I get them nationwide, but basically I try to can narrow my search down to where we want to look, Georgia, Florida, even in Alabama, because we have a gentleman in Alabama that's searching for properties as well on our team. Malik, we saw him last week. So that's a great spot to find properties. You can also, if you have access to the MLS, find income producing properties on the MLS. LoopNet's a good one too. Once you find a spot where you're happy, where you like finding deals, just go at it. So this is the back of the envelope where we do our initial inputting of some just over basic stuff: purchase price, NOI, net operating income, how much of a down payment you want to get your DSCR correct. This number here, the banks like to see 1.25 or higher. So the higher you can get that, the better off your debt service is. You have more extra income to pay your debt service. So if you want to pay a couple bucks extra on your mortgage, you can, and shorten the payment period. So let's start right from scratch here. So our purchase price on this 18-unit property is $3,900,000. $950. Their operating NOI is currently $189,965. We're going to go still, even though rates are dropping, I'm going to stick with a 7 right now. I'm going to go 30 years. Let's see what that gets us. See our debt service. I want to try and get that to 1.25. So we're halfway there. So let's see if we put 45% down, where that gets us. Almost 50. What do you think? Oh, almost. You can use these toggles too for onesies, twosies. There you go, 1.25. We're 52% down. So it also tells you the cap rate that it's trading at with these numbers and your ROI, return on investment, currently. That's just a quick back of the envelope. So you look at that and go, oh, heck, I can raise 50% of this deal. Let me see. Let me dig a little further. So we go to full analyze. And if you're looking for big deals like this, you always want to be raising money. You always want to have people in your sphere of influence, real estate term, that, hey, if you find a deal, let me know. I'll put some money in. So we're just going to go from here. We're going to be buying. We're buying multifamily. This property is, I'm just going to call it Navajo, Navaho Drive. I always get Drive and Street. I can never remember those two things. If that's all that's wrong with me, oh well. Let's put our file picture in here. This is going to look a little funny when I put it in, but what this is it looks like a single family home. It's 9 duplexes. Please put that on vibrate. Age of the property, I believe, is 19. The original age was 1940 something. I write all this stuff down off the OM, but you think I would find it? I know it's 1948. And they were all rehabbed 2017. The site area, it's big. This is it's on 2 acres. So 2 acres comes out to square footage of 89,298. So an acre is, I remember it by 711. So 43 equals to 7, 56 is 11, add a 0. So it's 43,560 square feet. Times that by 2.05. That's the actual acreage is here. And you come up with this number. Very simple. And the rentable square footage, and these are the 9 duplexes all added up, is 5. Where's the 5? Man, I'm having a tough time tonight. Bumble fingers. 12,275. I might have to start doing this class earlier. Can't stay awake. So we put all our numbers in, and there we are. Goes to page 2. Somebody have a question? I will just ask you to mute your microphone unless you have a question. Pretty please. So these are all 2 bedrooms, but they have 2-in-1s and 2-in-2s, and there is 1 3-in-2. It's a cool unit mix. And what I meant to tell you, this is a beach property too. This is in Madeira Beach. So it's only a couple blocks away from the actual beach. So it's pretty cool. So bear with me because this is a little bit of the agonizing part. What?
What books did you class?
Bum, bum, bum.
Love you.
So they have 1, and this one rents. I'm sorry, they're all 675 square footage. We forget that part. This one rents for 1,600. So I get their rent roll. I print it right off the offering memorandum, and I use their current rents. So we have 2 of these, and they all rent. You're going to see this a lot. Rents are all mixed up, and you're never going to have everybody paying the same amount of rent, only because rents usually get staggered month to month through the year. People sign, and you get new people, and you raise the rent. So It's just the way of the world. You can use average rents if you have a lot of properties. I think I explained this the other day. If you're doing a place that is 40, 50, 60, even higher, just add up all your rents, divide by the amount of units. Oh, there's the rain. And that just makes it easy. It'll get you close. So let me continue on here. We got one more, 675. This one rents for 1650. Let's hit the plus sign, move on. Another 2-bedroom. These first 4 are the 2-in-1s, but we don't advertise, go into bathrooms. So that's another single, 675. And this one rents for 1675. And you see it's cool. You can see your average price per square foot over here. Okay, so now these are the 2-and-2s. And we have 4 of these. These are all the same square footage. I think they gave me average square footage. Not a big deal again. These rent, this one's a little, for a 2-and-2, I would charge a little bit more rent. 1675. We get to play later. You'll see. Try and make this deal look a little bit better.
I think it's 1695.
Did I? Yeah, that's what that rents for.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No worries.
1675.
I did. I said 675 though. It was supposed to be 675 for the square footage. So we have 2 of these. 675. And these rent for 1750. We know we can do better than that in rent, that's for sure. Especially on beach property. So it's the next one. We have 5 of these. And these rent for $17.95. I don't type as quick as Miss Karen, so that's why it's a little agonizing. Okay, last 2-and-2. We have 1 of these. 675. This one rents for $17.25. And now I didn't put them in order of lowest rent to highest. And this one's our 3-and-2. And we have 1. And this one is 800 square feet. Must be some small bedrooms. And this one rents for $2,100. That's a little bit more like it.
Yeah.
And that's all of them. They also list other income. They don't really say what it is, but they have different pet fees. They have parking fees. I think they have a laundry. I can go back through over the OM. I'm pretty sure there's a laundry. They also have a utility reimbursement because there is only 1 water meter. Well, the units are metered for electric separately, but there is only 1 water meter. So he does have a RUBS program in place. I think that's part of this other income. There's 22,000. I think they recover 18,000 of the 22 in on the RUBS program. And they do list a 5% vacancy. And it's only 1 vacancy. Actually comes out to a little bit higher than 5, but we'll just call it 5 because it was 20 units, 5% would be 1. So now our expenses. Now, again, we want to, you can either put in a number here. Like I say, your expenses should be between 45 and 55% on an average when you go through, but I like to look at all the expenses. And like every other place, they don't list garbage. And I think it's part of his utility bill. But they also undercalculated the rent, the property tax.
That's the part.
Yeah, I know. So at 3.950 million, okay, let's we can run the numbers. You take your purchase price. I'll do a quick on my calculator, and I'll just tell you what I find. So 3,950,000 times 80% times 0.80 equals 3,160,000. And you times that by the millage rate. The Madeira Beach millage rate is 16.14 12, and that equals 12.91296. But you divide that by 1,000, and I missed a spot. Let me do this again. I'll make it quick. Here's the formula. Purchase price times 0.80 times the millage rate divided by 1,000. I hit a wrong number. That gives you your tax number. That's going to get you really, really, really close. But in the lovely state of Florida, they give you a discount. You get your tax bill in November. If you pay that tax bill in November, you get 4% off. So in this case, what you get is $48,966. They gave me a property tax of $36,000. So here's one of those inspect what you expect numbers. Don't use their numbers here. Even in insurance, unless it's a like a Marcus and Millen chap or a Franklin Street, they'll on their OM they will give you an insurance quote, and usually they'll give you more than one, and they'll tell you who it's from. They have insurance companies that they deal with all the time, and before they post a property or list a property, they will get insurance quotes. So, but what I did is I took their insurance number and I added 15% because it's going to go up, especially after a purchase. I think they purchased this property 4 years ago, and they paid just over $2 million for it. So it's going to go up, and so is your insurance. So $38,000. And I know I'm babbling a little bit, but I'm just trying to explain the difference between an OM and what's reality, especially when it comes to their expenses, because a lot of times they'll discount their expenses. So on this, his utility bill is $25,800. Now remember, part of that $25,800 is that $18,000 that he's recovering in his RUBS program for the water, because they don't list out water separately. So let's continue on. They have landscaping. Oh, look at that. Got it right there. I'll just type it in. Their landscaping bill is, they're on 2 acres, remember, so it's a little high. Usually you see $3,600 for landscaping. They had their legal fees. Look at that. I don't want to do that. Here. Excuse me.
Was there a lot of landscaping in the picture that you saw?
It's on a 2-acre lot.
Oh.
So that's why I think their landscaping bill is a little high. Like I said, usually it's like 36 or 3,000 for a property, but because they here's another one, pest control. Their pest control, $1,800, which isn't too bad. What's that, $150 a month or something like that? Their maintenance and repair, I thought was a little high, but it might be part of their rehab because all these units are rehabbed. They have turnover. A lot of these, I don't see a lot of these numbers on most OM, so I kind of like that. I apologize for my slow typing. That's $3,600 too. So I think they run a couple of Airbnbs here too.
Oh, that would explain it.
Yeah.
Boss.
Their marketing and advertising. There we are. That's $3,600. They like that number here.
Huh.
They pay lease commissions. So they have a leasing agent that they pay. So they're probably using a real estate. So that's one of those numbers that we can get rid of, since if we're running this place, if we're running this place, I'm a licensed real estate agent, so we can cut that down significantly. Their admin fees are $1,800. They listed a lot of expenses and some of those stuff. Their management fee, I thought this was a little high too, but it's really only like 6%. 25,000. Yeah, almost that,
7%.
almost 7%.
Yeah.
And reserves. So we put in 250 per unit times 18. Oops. Clear. 4,500. Oops. And that's all the expenses. And you come down here and let's see what our percentage is. 44.9. So not bad. It's on the low end of what, usually comes out to. But well, I'll take that. But again, if we can get rid of this, lower this management fee and cut this in half, this 7,200 leasing fees, we'll take it. So we should have looked at our cash on cash. It was 11 and change, and after expenses, it goes down to almost less than 3. So, so this page, it's actually you can play with this toggle a little bit. So if you want to pay a little bit less, raise the cap up, and you'll see that number. If you hit apply numbers, it goes down to 37. Let's let that load up. So we were at 532. We're going to play with that a little bit later. There we go. Let that load. So here's where we're at. Remember, we were putting 52% down, but look at our debt service now. Now we play with some numbers. It's at 1.39. Remember, it was just at 1.25 when we started. So I'm going to leave it like that for now because any number higher is good. We'll leave that at, actually, we can drop this down to 50. Yeah, man, it's still going to be good.
While you're on that page, can you go down to the bottom to those little buttons?
Yes. So on the bottom of every page, remember what we had on our back of the envelope. You can always go here if you forgot to check, and you have these active buttons. So you can go to city data and check the number. You can go to apartments.com, rentometer, and Crexy again. Over here, we're going to have financing. We're setting up lenders so you can get a quote. So we're working on that now. At least, hopefully, we'll get 4 lenders in here that we can get quotes for if you really like a property that's looking good. And over here, we're going to have title. So where you can get a net sheet and fees from title, see how much you're going to need to bring to closing on a deal that you get a quote from here and the deal that you're looking at currently. So that's on every page of the deal analyzer. And shame on me, I didn't show you, but that's there. So even putting 50% down now, we're still 8 points over the 1.25. So let's move it along. Numbers look good. So here's our editing page, and see how it comes up. It shows our picture. Here's all the numbers that we put in so far. Here's all of our rents, all of our property expenses so far. And again, if everything's not listed on your property expenses, this is just I don't want to say a cursory, but it is a simple form of underwriting. Once you're if you decide to put it in LOI, you're going to get real expenses from these people. You're going to dig a lot deeper.
Forensic audit.
Yep, you're going to do your forensic audit. Thank you, Karen. Excuse me, got to get a drink. So here's our cash flow analysis. So we're going to try and grow at least raise our rents by 3% annually. And here's these little questions. It tells you what each box is requiring. All right. So I wish I could put a 0 here. I wish we could talk to our developers and let me put a 0 there. I don't want to grow my expenses. I want to cut my expenses. So I would like to put a 0 here, even a negative number I like to put here. I want to cut my expenses like there's no tomorrow. But right now, it is what it is. I always put 1.5 here just to keep things on the up and up, and 10 years. Let's move along. I think this is going to take us to the bitter end. See how simple that was? So we come in here. So our NOI, remember our NOI when we started on our back of the envelope was only 100, almost 190,000. Just by doing what we did, we got it up to 210,000. We really didn't do anything yet. We actually added numbers to it, increased in numbers to it. But our cash flow, our year one cash flow, 30,000, a little over. Our cash on cash return is only 1.53. We'd like to see that a little bit higher, quite a bit higher. And here's our IRR. Okay. And we like to see that. I'd like to see that over 10. So this property, the way it stands, not so good. But remember, underwriting is you're going to do pro forma, what you think you can get. And you want to be conservative with your numbers. You don't want to, let's say, oh, I know there's a, oh, sorry, I went to the wrong page. I know there's an apartment complex for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath is getting $3,000. So I think I can get $3,000. Now let's dial it back. All right. But we know we can get for one. Who?
Massey.
What's up, Massey?
Yeah, what's the IRR?
Your IRR is yes, I know. Internal rate of return. I was trying to think of the way Brian explains it. See, internal rate of return, it's how quickly are you going to get your investors' money back to them? So it's a help me out here, Karen.
Measure of efficiency.
Thank you. A measure of efficiency. I couldn't remember it. And that's why I was stuttering a little bit. Remember how efficient this property is going to be on returning your money to your investors. So if let's say I do upgrades, let's just keep it simple. I do upgrades, and these upgrades cost me, I don't know, $2 million. All right. How quickly am I going to get that $2 million back? So if I tell everybody, oh, I can get that $2 million back in 6 months, and that's part of my management plan. And in reality, it doesn't take me 6 months. Something happens. I can't get that money back. So now it's 2 years. So that IRR number has gone down by 0.75%, or by 3/4. So instead of getting it back in 6 months, now you're getting it back in 2 years. So I've cut my rate of return back by 3/4. It's basically a measure of efficiency. It's a measure of time. How quickly can I get my money back to my investors? That's the easy definition for it, or explanation for it, I should say.
Thank you.
You're welcome. On a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, I think I can get $1,850. Use my other. I'm just going to change all these to $1,850. Oops. Dial that one back. Yep. And these are the 2-bedroom, 1-baths. Top 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So I think I can get $1,950 for those. Another $100 for the extra bathroom. I'm just going to use. I did check these on apartments.com. Yeah, we're actually a little bit higher, but I'm going to be conservative. Remember, and you can get rid of these line items by typing an X or hitting that X. And on this 3 and 2, I don't know. I think I can do at least 2,400. What do you think, Kat?
Yep.
Okay.
My guess.
Good job. So we are in line. And I'm a really good property manager, and I have 0 vacancy. I am fully loaded. So let's move along. Remember, we were at 2.65 here. Let's save and move forward. Look at that. I doubled our cash on cash just by raising the rents a little bit. Right. Let's go to the back here, and let's see what we raised our NOI to. Oops, did I not go to the last page? But it did. Let's move forward. There we are. Let's see what we raised our NOI to. Remember, it was 210,000. Look at that, 271,000.
Nice. Wow.
Quite a bit. It's almost 100,000 more than they reported on their NOI, right? Our net cash flow, 91,000. That was 22,000 before. And we doubled our cash on cash return. Remember that was 2 and change. Now we're almost at 5. But let's go to our IRR, 11. And that was just by raising the rent. We didn't cut expenses yet. So let's go back. Let's go to expenses. This is what I love about this deal analyzer. Changes everything immediately as soon as you touch it. So I think I can change the, let's drop this to 4%, the management. Change that to a straight up 4. So from 25, now we're going to 17. Where did it go? Oh, I hit the X, darn it. So we can always re-add it. Oops. Let's go 4%. Stay away from that X.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the other one we wanted to switch?
The lease.
Oh yeah, the leasing. I'm going to change this to a straight 1%. And these aren't going to be gigantic changes, but changes enough. So let's see. Yep, got our expenses down by almost 10%, 8%. Let's save and move forward. So we were at 5.26. We went on our cash on cash. Look at that. It went to 6.3. Did I not get that? There we go. And our cap rate went up to a 7. Let me go back. Yeah, look. Oh, I got to go back one more. Come on. Yeah, our cap rate went to a 7.1.
Nice. Nice. Why is it not going to the last page again? And these were all block, right?
Yep, all block construction and upgraded. So now our NOI didn't go up too much. It went up to 282. Well, we know what our cash on cash over 5%. So that's good. That's a good number right there. Net cash flow, $102,000 just in year 1. Our IRR is not going to go up too much. Yep, just under 12. But just making those couple of changes, man, you can't beat it. Got to love it. So here's a couple other things on this deal analyzer. You can download PDFs, this 10-year cash flow. I'm going to show you these. And this is why it's important to put the right numbers in. Let me show you this one. Y'all can see it, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So you got your picture here that we put in, all the numbers that we just put in. So you can share this with team members. You can take this to the bank with you and show you, hey, this is the deal I'm looking at. This is the pro forma underwriting. Shows your cash on cash return, your zero vacancy, your potential gross income. I mean, you can't go wrong. Here's your loan. You're putting 50% down. So your DSCR is going to be beautiful. You don't have you're not borrowing on debt. You're not leveraging debt. And here's everything it gave you in that last report. And let's go back here, and then you can just download the 1-year cash flow analysis. And I'll show you that. It looks similar, but it has the different numbers. Still gives you everything you need here. All the numbers that we put in. Property tax numbers. All the expenses. Oops, missing the drag. Not bad. Here's another cool thing you can do with this deal analyzer. Let me go back to one of these. Over here on the right, you have a link. right? You hit that link, and it says copy. Now it's been copied. Let me go to my email. Let me go to compose. Let me send it to me. I'm just going to type link. If I was sending it to somebody, I'd say link to the property that I'm doing. And you just copy the link in here. Control V and send. Should be coming to my phone instantaneously by the magic of modern electronics. My teammate opens up his email, hits the link, and there it is. Everything we just did is right here. So your teammate can go in and go, come on, hit that. There you go. Wow, look at these rents.
No, those are your expenses.
Nope, those are my rents.
Sorry. Yeah, so sorry. You're right.
And he's, they can look at the same deal and you guys can go on together and you can make changes together. Oh, I don't think I can get 1850, maybe 1825, whatever you want to do. So that is all the tricks I can show you about the deal analyzer. Look on the bottom of this page. Here's your active buttons. Soon to be title companies, lenders, and CIOTA. Any questions from anybody? I'm going to stop sharing. That wasn't too bad. I went into some deep explanations. We got started a couple minutes early. What do you got? Samson, what do you need?
So my question is going to be, first off, thanks for the, presentation, the live example of seeing how the deal analyzer works. I guess my question is, what should be like the key things to look for to know if it's a good deal or a bad deal?
That depends on your business, what you want to see. And basically, what I was saying, like some of the numbers. Let me go back in real quick.
See, some of the things for us for Florida is we prefer block versus wooden structures because of the termite issue down in Florida.
And hurricanes.
And hurricanes, yes. So stability-wise, insurance-wise, pitched roof versus a flat roof.
Yeah.
Pipes, you do not cast iron. It's horrible. We happen to live in 114 units right now, and we still have some cast iron. And I help manage the property, and believe me, the things that I have learned about pipes are incredible.
Nobody should know that much about pipes.
No.
Unless you're a plumber.
Exactly. So as you go through, and as you learn, there's also a 300-point due diligence sheet that Brian has on the platform. There's a property checklist. As you speak to him and see things that he learns through his trainings, you will see good and bad, and then it depends. Some people prefer certain areas or certain classes. They don't want to go into the rougher neighborhoods. That's could be a lot more expensive. So they prefer to stay, B, and some people want nothing. They don't want to have to worry about any repairs, and they go strictly after A properties, luxury properties. So, certain things will depend upon what you're looking to do.
But to answer your question, I think you're asking about numbers. What's the criteria for dollar amounts or percentages? Is that correct?
I mean, both kind of answered my question. So
okay.
I guess.
Well, let me, because it depends on your business model. Okay. But right off the top of my head, well, NOI is NOI. You can change that by changing things, but cash on cash return, this number, I think anywhere over 4.25 is good. Anything over 5 is very good, I think, in my opinion. IRR, I like to see above 10. Cap rate, I would love to see, 7 or higher. A lot of things are trading right now at 4, 5. But if you can put your pro forma numbers in and get your cap higher, I think you're better. You're better off. It's cap rate's a weird creature because the lower the cap rate, the way the bankers say, the lower the cap rate, the higher the property value. But in this case, you're lowering your cap rate because you're making the property perform better, and it's all about operations, right? So you want to see higher cash flows. Cap rate is really it's the number the bankers use. It's important, but not so much. It's all about operations. You got to operate your property efficiently. And that's why I went back in and changed that management fee number. That's why I went back and changed a couple of numbers. A couple of things you can't change, the property taxes. They get, unless you're dealing with a big Section 8 property where you may get a discounted property tax from the city that you're working in. But for the most part, that's going to be, you can't change that. But if we go back into our expenses, and that's why I said I want to put a minus number in expenses, because this is where you make your money, in my opinion. If you run your property efficiently and keep this number, remember what I said in the beginning, normally this percentage is between 45 and 55%. The more I can drive that down, in my opinion, drives the property value way up. All right. If you can insert a RUBS program, a utility reimbursement program, in this case, there's only one water meter. So you're gonna look for the best utility reimbursement program there is, in my opinion. You can always search around for garbage companies. Sometimes you can't beat that either, though. Some municipalities, sorry, you're using ours, and it's part of your property taxes, so you can't get rid of that. But sometimes you can definitely deal with payroll, right? You can cut payroll. You can make that person or persons who are working for you be more efficient. And I know it sounds bad because, hey, it's just Johnny Q. Citizen trying to have a job to feed his family. But this is business, all right? Your office expenses, there's something you can definitely change. Your landscaping, you can always shop around for a cheaper landscaper. I mean, we just did it here in our 114 unit condominium. We're not part of the financial team, but my wife is on the board and I'm part of the property committee. Same thing with pest control. You can find a better pest control person. So, and I can go on and on about that. Even with your mortgage rates, you can shop around and get better rates. That's why you go in and refinance, right? You go in and refinance and cut those numbers. So not to beat a dead horse, but I think right here is where you can improve your properties. And you saw just by tweaking a couple of numbers here, we made our property more efficient, right? And it looks more attractive to the banks. So that's the long answer to your question. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Stop sharing. Yeah. So, and that's what Brian teaches. Brian teaches operations, how to run your property more efficiently. And that's why you do your COTA process. That's why you select your tenants. Your tenant selection is very important also. You got to do background checks. You got to do, and that might be a spot where you have to spend a little bit more money and do a really thorough background check. Make sure, you're checking credit scores. Make sure you check. Yeah, your qualifying criteria. Thank you, Karen. And stick to it.
Yeah, Matthew.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, what would be a time frame to get into your pro forma?
Well, it's funny you say that because when we helped Brian's students, his coaching students, run that one property, from Brian's teachings, we had hit the 3-year rent after what, 6 months?
6 months. Before 6 months, it was like month 5. We were already at year 3 rents.
So it depends. It depends on how you can replace your tenant base if that's what needs to be done. There's also, you can also do some Airbnbs that changes your numbers as well. You cannot buy a property if all the units are Airbnb unless you pay cash for it, because they will not loan on a property that has all Airbnbs. Jeez, it's getting to that time. Can't even speak anymore.
So remember, you just can't go in and jump rents up, because you especially if you have signed leases, 1 year lease, 6 month lease, 7 month lease, whatever it is. Your month to months, the next month you can jump them right up and
Or get them out.
get them out and get a new tenant in that's going to sign a long-term lease. So that, in that case, if you have a lot of month to months, you can get to your pro forma rent pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put, I'm not going to say how quick you can do it. I mean, we had, and that was what, 9 units plus 4 commercial units. So the one that we helped property manage. So I think we had 2 vacant and 3 month to months.
Yeah.
So the vacants, we jumped right up, and the month to months, a couple of them we jumped up and a couple of them left. Oh, well, so we got new tenants. So in that case, that helped us get to that pro forma, that 3 year pro forma quickly.
And little changes like gooseneck faucets or backsplashes. Greg had put in a couple of sticky backsplashes.
Peel and stick backsplash. They were vinyl.
And this young couple comes in, and we were raising the rent from like $675 to $800, and this young couple comes in, and I gotta say, we were both a little nervous, and they did not even bat an eye.
Yep.
So right there, $125 rent increase, whoosh, off to the races.
And
It was incredible.
And that peel and stick backsplash cost nothing.
Yeah.
It really was. I think it was like $30 or something like that. And it was a small backsplash, maybe 8 feet wide. And we took them up to the top of the cabinets. Yeah. Very simple to install.
Little light switch, light fixture changes.
Light switch plates.
Pretty globes over the lights that were hanging over the sinks. I mean, just not big, huge items. Making sure your blinds are all
all the blinds.
And new. Everything's clean or freshly painted. Just little things sometimes, and people, and everybody was so grateful when we helped with that property. So many people were just, oh my gosh, thank you so much, because so many things were kept up and taken care of. And
we even added another day of garbage collection, because the small dumpster that they had was overflowing every time the garbage men came. So we added another day of garbage collection, which really didn't cost too much either.
No, so that was money with me fighting with the garbage company.
Karen was on the phone with them every day.
Oh my gosh, every day. They didn't come to pick up. And then there's a lot of other neighbors that were coming by and throwing all their garbage in our dumpster. So it was getting full so fast. So, it was incredible. And then we had a leak. This is one of my favorites. We had one of the commercial units was a cleaning supply company. They had cleaning supplies in there.
They had the warehouse. They had most of the first floor. They had an office space up in the front, which took up a third of the building. And then they had a huge warehouse in the back, which took up the rest, 3/3
When
of the
we
back.
would get rain, they would get this puddle in the middle of the floor with this pipe that went straight up. It was all boxed in. Nothing was wet on the wood going up this pipe, but there was a puddle. Couldn't figure it out. At one point, somebody said, "Oh, it's coming from under the cement. You're going to have to jack up the cement to find out. It must be something leaking underneath." Jackhammer, yeah. So there's 3 of us in there. We're looking around, and there was kind of grooves that went across the floor, but all met at this pipe. Well, it turns out that somebody's apartment over in the
second floor,
on the second floor, was leaking. They had a tile missing, and it was leaking onto their pipe, which was then dripping to the floor and then pouring through the grooves and meeting there. So, I mean, they were thinking about jacking up the floor, and we wrapped the pipe in paper towel and went back and checked it the next day. And once the paper towels were wet, we knew that's where the leak was coming from. So again, there was a massive expense that was handled by paper towels. So, it's not always, you have to really take the time sometimes to look,
Investigate.
investigate, right. Don't just jump in and try a repair. And it would have been unnecessary.
So you were able to stop that before you spent the money. You were able to find that.
Yeah, it would have cost us probably 5 times the amount to jackhammer the concrete in the warehouse than to just repair the tile up in the second floor bathroom.
Right.
And we had to do some other stuff too, but they got a brand new bathroom floor out of it because they were a disaster. We got rid of that tenant and got good tenants in there.
Good catch right there.
Almost $400 more a month for that same apartment. So the short answer to your question, Matthew, is it really depends on the situation. It depends on the leases. It depends on the leases on what was I going to say? Holy moly! And how quickly you can turn over your tenant base to get to your pro forma rents. Any other questions, guys? Samson, if you got questions, man, ask away. You can also message us on the platform. We get the messages, and we'll be happy to help you out. Miss Karen still has to set up a tour for you, so we'll get that done.
We'll
Yeah,
stop.
let me thank our sponsors. We like to thank Stewart Title, Lincoln Lending, Ed Carfer School of Real Estate. Also like to thank Mr. Brian Chavis for creating this beautiful platform for us so we can all educate ourselves and Tampa Housing Authority. Our new partners are Tampa Housing Authority. We have a big coming out party coming shortly with them, and we are going to be educating their landlords and tenants on 2,700 landlords and God knows how many tenants. One, to be better tenants and show them their rights, because tenants have rights too, and to help the landlords learn. And in Tampa, it's called Inspire. It used to be called something else, but now it's the new Inspire program that we're going to be training their landlords on. So thank you, Tampa Housing, as well. And with that, we're going to stop our recording and